Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review for tonight's Newcastle United 1, Everton 1 match review with me, Paul, Alex, Billy, and Sam. The echo is back. Oh, it's back.
It is, yeah.
It's something on your gain, Sam, I think, on the microphone.
For God's sake, man.
I know. Oh, it's gone now. Oh, no, it's back again.
What?
Just mute until you speak like I do, and then it doesn't
That's a
cause
good
an
idea.
issue.
Yeah, well, welcome everybody. As usual, if you do enjoy tonight's stream, please do hit the subscribe button and the like button. And of course, if you are new, then don't forget to hit the notification bell, which will let you know when we upload any videos or we schedule in our lives. Of course, you can become a member of the Toon Review by hitting the join button at the bottom of the four of us. And of course, you can donate to the channel as usual by that $sign at the bottom of the live chat. And that will get your comment guaranteed to be read out in the show. Good evening, lads and Lady Sam.
Good evening to everybody out there too.
Hola.
Okay, well, listen, first of all, of course, I must put this out because I'm trying to sort of not just help myself, but I'm trying to help other people who have been put in this situation. Last night, as many of you saw on the video, I was confronted at the turnstile going into the ground, accused at first of having a children's ticket, and then accused of not having a disability, and that I was too young to have Parkinson's. And was I really telling the truth? I was extremely hurt, angry, and disappointed. Now, I do accept that this is one particular person, but when you're working on that gate or you're working anywhere in St. James's Park on a match day, you are responsible and you are representing Newcastle United, right? Simple as that. It's, you know, I do not expect to be treated like that going into Newcastle when I've been away for quite some time through the illness and other things, of course. But then, you know, going into the ground last night, I was thoroughly looking forward to getting back in there, sitting with all the guys around me, you know, George, etc. And I was confronted like that, not just on my own. There was people just overlooked everything who were already in the ground. They couldn't get through the turnstile. She'd held everything up, and I'm absolutely disgusted. And I'm still very upset about it now. It's knocked me for six, to be honest, because that's the first time that's really happened since I got diagnosed with my illness. And, you know, some people have come back in the comments and saying, man up, unbelievably, that I have to man up. And this goes on with disabled people. Well, it shouldn't. This should not happen in this day and age to anybody. Right. And I've had a lot of messages from other disabled fans who've had the same sort of issue. Other fans have had different treatment, not just disabled fans, but bad treatment from the club. And this has to stop. Now, I've contacted I've emailed every possible department at that football club. I've emailed the Disability Supporters Association today as well. I am yet to hear anything back from anybody. Now, I'll give it a couple of days, absolutely. But something as serious as this, that woman broke the law last night, as far as I'm concerned, and what I've read up about confronting disabled people. It's absolutely shit. And people saying to me, oh, well, you know, you tell everybody on YouTube about your illness. Yes, I do, because that's my choice to do so. I do not have to be confronted by some steward trying to, you know, sit there and interrogate me on what my illness is and make me, well, force me to tell them what my illness is because I have a disabled ticket. So does this mean every time I'm now going to go through the turnstile, my ticket flashes up double green, which means it, according to her, was a children's ticket? So I'm going to have the same issue. Well, it's not going to happen because I'm going to take this as far as I can go. I've been in touch with a lot of people today, you know, regarding Newcastle United, not the club themselves. Still waiting for a response from them. But I am not going to take this. And again, it's not just for myself, this. It's for the other disabled supporters who've had similar sort of problems trying to get into that ground. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a disgrace. In 2024, that is a disgrace. And it spoiled the night for me last night. And people may say I'm going over the top or whatever. as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going over the top because this is a disability. It's not, just, oh, you got the wrong ticket or something like that. The way I was spoken to by that woman was completely out of hand, completely out of any context of what she was trying to get out of me. It was disgusting. And I am not going to take that going to a football match to watch the team that I love and be interrogated on the gate in front of loads of people. I felt like shit last night. Absolute shit. I honestly, I'm not going back to St James's Park until this is sorted out. I want a proper response from the football club. I've tagged the channel in with my emails to say, look, I have a platform which we celebrate Newcastle United most days a week. We've done this for a long time now. But I have this platform now to help with other disabled fans. It's as simple as that. And I am not leaving it there. It will not end there. The club need to get in touch. And if anyone from the club is watching now, you need to get in touch because I'm not going to let this lie. I will take this a lot further than I need to or that I'm prepared to, but I will if I have to. Because nobody is going to put me in that situation and punish me for having a disability. Punish me for having a terminal illness is bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. So get your head screwed on at Newcastle United and sort this shit out because I am not the only one that's going through this. It happens every single fucking game. Right? Every single game. Somebody is having a problem either because they're old or they're disabled. And it's bollocks. Old people getting questioned on the date of birth and stuff like that at the gate because the stewards don't believe that they have a proper ticket. Now, I sent all my paperwork into Newcastle United, which is how I got the damn disabled ticket in the first place. I do not deserve to be scrutinized like that in front of loads of people and ruined my night because I went home last night thinking I'm not worth it. I'm not like a normal person. People who are disabled don't feel like normal people because they're scrutinized and put on the spot like that. Fucking disgusting, Newcastle United. End of. Anyway, I've had me say, but we'll see what Newcastle United come back with. I'm just pissed off. You can tell I'm pissed off and I'm hurt. I'm hurt more than anything. Hurt and angry. But anyway, I don't know if you guys have anything to say on what should happen in this day and age, but I don't expect you to get involved in it. But it's up to you. If you've got something to say, then please say it.
Well, listen, in this day and age, it's absolutely scandalous that...
Oh, look at this, man. You won't get anywhere swearing. Fuck off! Sorry, Billy.
It's okay. In this day and age, disabled people should not be castigated as outcasts of society. Absolutely not. And what gives the right for a turnstile attendant to suddenly become military police or chief inspector of a police station and put someone in an interrogation room? It's not on. And I'd go as far as to say they shouldn't be in that job. They should be fired immediately for that kind of treatment of someone. It's absolutely scandalous.
Sam, you going to say something there?
Yeah, I'd probably just weigh in to say it's a real shame.
And guys, bring it in so we know who to ban because there's a few people going a bit silly in the chat now. Let's keep it nice. Paul's well within his rights to voice his opinions here. We will just instant ban hammer. If you're going to shame someone for having Parkinson's disease, you can get right in the bin. So please just tell us if you don't like what Paul's just said, say it so we can just ban you straight away.
Oh,
we'll make it quicker.
It's this Dr. Rocco who was he put.
I've already banned him. It's fine. He's gone.
Last night.
Anybody else?
He's an absolute.
If you don't like us, tell us. We'll get you banned.
Come and say it to me face, Dr. Rocco. But you haven't got the balls, have you? You chicken shit. Fuck off.
Sorry, Sam.
Go on. Fucking go on, Paul. I love it. Do you know what? I think for me, I hope you really feel the love from everybody in the community here, everybody who's posted in the chat on your initial reaction video. I think that it was just terrible timing for me after that really touching video that was promoted by the club. I think that the timing was just awful, and I think we all have a responsibility for people with seen and unseen disabilities, for inclusivity and diversity and all of that lovely stuff. We want to make these places safe and great places for people to attend and go. I would really like to think this is just one individual person, but reading some of the chat comments from the video you posted, it looks like it's a bigger issue. So I really hope you get some traction on it, Paul, and keep us posted. But you can see from the comments there's so much love and support in this community for you, Paul. So keep fighting it, as we know you will.
I don't think sorry, I don't mean to drag this out, but it is a serious matter. And the fact that the problem I have is that nobody sees what people deal with behind the scenes, behind, they can go to a game and seem perfectly fine, and enjoying themselves, but they don't see what goes on at home. I am crippled by this illness, right? I am absolutely crippled by it. It tears me apart on a daily basis, right? And people just don't understand that when you're confronted by somebody questioning you of that illness, it hurts. And you kind of sat there thinking, what am I doing here? Am I classed as the same as anybody else? I know there's a lot of disabled people a lot worse than me, but we're all disabled at the same time. And I've had to sit here all day just tune myself up because I've been confronted for the first time in my life, being accused of A, having the wrong ticket, having a kid's ticket, and then B, not being able to, or shouldn't have, a disabled ticket because I'm too young to have Parkinson's.
So that she's basically accusing you of fraud in the club, isn't she?
Yeah. And I've had enough. I deal with enough in my life that I don't need this shit. I do this channel because I love Newcastle United. I love interacting with you three. I love interacting with all the viewers, most of them anyway, that aren't dickheads. And I love what I do. But behind the scenes, it's hell for me to live with this illness. The tremors that people don't see, the headaches that people don't see, the muscle spasms that people don't see, the speech problems sometimes that I can't get out. It's hard. And I'm getting emotional about it now because it's hard work. But I try at home to hide it as much as I can for the benefit of me kids, because I don't want to see the dad going through what I'm going through. And I'm sure every other disabled person who is a parent feels like that. I don't do it in front of Susan. I hide everything. If I'm starting to tremble, I'll walk out the room. I'll go somewhere else because I'm embarrassed by it. And I shouldn't be. But now it's come back to the front again because of what she did. It's broke me, if I'm honest. It really has. And I didn't expect it to come from Newcastle United, of all places. But, Billy, carry on.
Yeah, let's do some comments. Let's do right from the top of the page, because it's a very emotive subject. Mark says he's still feeling gutted after last night. Hurry up, Saturday. I don't want to talk about the game until Paul comes back. Mike says, yes, dropped 2 points after bad decision by Dummit. We could not get that second goal to kill the game off. Just gutted. What else have we got? This is an interesting point from Colin. For me, it just proves that Deadwood has to go. Let's talk about the Deadwood Stato. I mean, they're taking up wages, they're taking up spots on benches, they're taking up places on pitches, and then they're taking points away from us. It's an excellent point.
There needs to be something done in the summer. I feel like we can't be as kind again for another summer and just dish out a bunch of contract extensions. But again, if we are at the FFP limit or PSR, whatever acronym we're giving it today, it's a tricky one. Hopefully, obviously, everything goes well with the Adidas deal and additional sponsorships, potentially a training kit sponsor, additional revenue from that kind of area, as well as possibly 1 or 2 reasonable sales. Fingers crossed we can get something through the door, like a Jamal Lewis sale, just for a little bit, just little bits and bobs like that. Maybe the Ryan Fraser deal. Maybe we could get him off on a permanent transfer. There's a few to move on, because we definitely need them, because these are players that they're not even in the back end of the squad. They're just being loaned out, and we're potentially paying part, if not all of the wages for some of these people. So, yeah, we can't just be doing contract extensions and things. We need to try and shift people on. We need some new in.
I did read today that Isaac Hayden wants to stay at QPR. So, I mean, if he's prepared to take a drop in wages, I guess that could be a one player out the door that will get us a few quid. I'm not certain if they actually pay his money there on QPR. I don't think they've loaded with cash, are they, in the the Championship, second division? Christ. Is it 1989 still? Evening to Jackie, hope you're well. Peter Griffin says, we'll be shocked to forget you this season. We will chip too many goals with Trippier, Tino, Botman and Lascelles out. Yeah, apparently Livermento's out for a month now, as is Almiron.
Joking, a month?
Yeah, both out for a month, which,
I
mean...
We need Trippier back.
We do indeed. Sam's returned. Sam,
with a pug.
On mute as well.
I had to hug a pug.
Dear me. Yeah, it's a very emotive subject, I have to say. Most people says, I think what we've learned from this is there's no point having low value, reliable players. Better to just have young players instead and give them pitch time. Were either of you disappointed with the bench last night? 2 goalkeepers. Could have been another kid on there, couldn't there? Under no circumstance you're going to use 3 goalkeepers in the game, is there really? Unless it's some freak happens.
This is it, and I think I said it in the match. I can't even get my words out now. I said it during the match commentary. I was really disappointed because we've talked about Alfie Harrison. He's been around the first team here at Newcastle. He did the warm weather training and around Man City, and what he specifically said to the press, to everybody, is that he wanted a route to the first team. This would have been a golden opportunity to just get him around the players in that environment, feeling the ground for the first time. This isn't like anywhere else, and yeah, that was a miss for me.
Stato, do you feel the same way? Obviously, it's that daft selection for me.
The only thing I would probably question is just the second goalkeeper. I don't think it's necessary. I think just have a youngster on for the experience, at least the match day experience, even if you've got no intention of bringing them on. Somebody like Harrison or anyone like that, it means they're involved in the team talks, the pre-match sort of setup, the warm-ups. That even if they're not going to play, they're there. It's a good experience for the youngster to be part of that in the stadium when the fans are coming in. It's a good learning environment, even if they're not necessarily going to come on the pitch unless like 5 players get injured, which is not beyond us at the moment. I just don't see the point in having 2 goalkeepers on the bench. I wish it was something that they would ask in a press conference. Yeah. Why don't you just give one of the youngsters a chance on the bench? Because some of those youngsters have been in matchday squads before, like Travis Hearns.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Bit bizarre, really. I appreciate some of them maybe are playing in the youth football, but just let them be part of the team. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
We have a quadruple of super chats here to announce. Conor Mattia, €5.99. Third-party tickets being sold in family section in Milburn. Stand on sites. Site never states it's a family kid until seller sends it on 2 days before. Kierith Baines, Daniel's son, of course. So truth be told, I don't have much clue about football, but I just love this channel. Well, cheers for that, Kierith. Very much appreciated. Eric Grimslid, $5. Sneak into 8th place and get Conference League. Another summer building some depth and make a top 5 run in the Prem the following year. And Chippers, our mate Chippers, £10 super chat. He says, Paul, you, Billy, Stato, Sam, and everyone on his channel has my support. Very kind of all 4 of you there. Really, really appreciate that. There you go. Matt Hames says, pretty good job. We didn't have a big clear out last summer. We'd have Billy at right back by now. Left-footed, lad. Sorry. I'm not playing on the wrong side of the pitch.
You're not left-footed, are you?
I am indeed, yeah. Very predominantly left-footed as well. My right foot is absolutely abysmal. My left's a bit of a one, mind, or was.
Billy Almiron.
Yeah. Julie J's around in the background. She's making dinner. Claire says sick of 2 keepers. It's a joke. And Noel Powell says he had Diallo there and he's being released. Let's get into the game, shall we? Might as well. I don't think Paul's going to come back now. I'm not sure. But we might as well start talking about the game itself. I've got lineups here. I could put lineups up, I think. Chance I've still got them on there. Yes, we do. This is the Newcastle lineup. As we've mentioned, there 2 keepers on the bench, but no Livramento. Crafton at right back. Start. Lewis Hall got a start also. Elliot Anderson came to the side too, and Harvey Barnes. A good lineup there. We all thought at the time. with the exception of Longstaff. Dan Burn was captain. And the Everton lineup was as follows: Pickford, Mikolenko, Branthwaite, Tarkowski, Godfrey, Idrissa Gana Gay, Onana, Young, McNeil, Doucouré, and Beto. But a very much stronger bench than ours. I think that was the key to it all, wasn't it, Sam? The strength of the benches.
Yeah, absolutely. And it turned out to be our demise, unfortunately. I mean, listen, we're obviously going to talk about what we don't want to, but do want to talk about what was going through Dummit's mind. I know he is Mr. Reliable, and Alex
Absolutely nothing.
yeah, Alex made a really good point by saying, what else does Eddie do in that moment? You know, can go for somebody who's sturdy, reliable, and experienced. I would have probably said, you know, we're doing really well. We're taking the shots. We're taking the targets. Let's get the younger Murphy on and just see what happens. I felt we were confident enough to do that, but he's obviously gone with the safe, steady choice. And who could have predicted those shenanigans, those antics? What was it? Stone colding him out. What?
Let's go back to the beginning of the game, though, because it started pretty well. Let's be honest. I mean, let's be honest. For most of the game, we dominated it, really, with a few sporadic kind of spells from Everton, but generally, Stato, we were in control of it all, weren't we?
Yeah, I mean, all signs pointed towards 2 or 3 goals and a victory, and it's what it should have been. We absolutely dominated them in terms of shot volume, XG. Not to mention that Tarkowski near own goal that hit their post, which doesn't even credit us with XG. That doesn't. We had so many good opportunities that we worked hard for, and it was Pickford was brilliant at its general shot stopping, and B, just weren't quite at the races with our finishing. But that should have been we should have scored 2 or 3. The data suggests, and I think by the eye test as well, it looks like we should have scored 2 or 3. I think both match up. I think that's a fair suggestion. It was just a moment of madness. There's a lot. Again, I feel like there's a lot of tweets, a lot of headlines this morning from people that clearly didn't watch the game, sort of saying, "Oh, difficult Everton fight back and penalty." Not really. Didn't happen. It was purely not even a mistake, just a moment of idiocy from, well, I don't want to say a moron because that's really harsh on Paul Dummit, because I'm sure he's a lovely guy and he's done really well for us. But I was frustrated. Was it Dan Burn afterwards who said he didn't need to apologise? Yes, he does. Yes, he does for that.
Agreed.
Maybe if he doesn't need to, does Burn speak for the entire team? If he does, fair enough. But I think to the fan base, that's not good enough. To the fan base, that's outrageous, considering obviously the ups and downs of certain things, and especially being quite crap against the lower teams in the league. You know, we were getting behind the team with all the injuries. There was no need for it. There was no need to do that. You know, I said this to Billy last night. We mentioned this in the Patreon podcast, that if Paul Dummit had been beaten by speed or aerial prowess or just by a better player, you would be able to stomach it. It's the fact that he was just an idiot in that moment that's really hard to take, because it was so avoidable.
I mean, he's been a professional footballer playing at the top level for 12 years now. Everyone knows what Ashley Young's like. You only got to touch him with an eyelash and he's going to go roll on the floor. So to literally do what he did to him, I mean, Ashley was never going to let that go, was he? He was going to make sure the referee knew all about it, and he did. You know, I think any player would, to be fair. We've got some super chats to announce. Potato Gamer, £5 one. I worked on the turnstiles. You didn't get trained. You had to be trained to be a steward, though. No excuses. She should be sacked. David Noble's been a member for 5 months. He says, are we extending all these players' contracts because the club knows isn't bringing in a massive amount of people in the summer? Surely we move them on. We've got a new member also, Foodbar Steve, who's joined as a member. Welcome to the community, Steve. And Peter Proudlock, £10 super chat. Great channel as always, Toon of you. Longstaff again was abysmal. Getting fed up with these tripe performances week in, week out. We'll come on to it in a second. We've got a £5 super chat from Dan Robinson. Even lads and lasses, I've just got here, so I'm a bit behind. Just wanted to say, did anyone enjoy Dummit's debut in UFC last night? Yeah. And also, £5 super chat to Spike Milligan. I was at the game cheering them on, but I also wanted to call the mums up to take them home for FFS. Yeah, and Conor Matier, member for 3 months. He says, watching the team at the moment, I feel my ACL going every time I get off the couch during the game. Yeah, interesting points. Right, Sean Longstaff. Let's get into the Sean Longstaff stuff. Because he did show signs of improvement against West Ham Saturday. A few minor signs, let's say. Last night, neither here nor there, was he? Bit of a passenger. Did the basics okay at times. Didn't do the basics well at times either, though.
He's tired. He's low in confidence.
Yeah.
He's injured. He's not as bad as he was 3 weeks ago, but he's still very meh. It's very...
That's not a shining accolade, though, is it, Alex?
Well, there's no one else to use, really.
Yeah.
It's about not disrupting the balance. Eddie's very interested in the balance of the team, and I get that. It's one of the reasons why he doesn't seem to want to do Willock and Anderson at the same time, or that an additional point might be because they're both knackered, or not ready to play 90 minutes is probably the better way of putting it. It's just not there at the moment. I think he can, when he's super fit and he's in form and he's confident, when he plays above his levels, he can be useful to this squad, very much so. But he's not been like that for a long time due to this injury and due to confidence and due to the workload and just everyone getting injured. It's not his worst game at all recently, but it wasn't particularly useful. If we could have had an informed Longstaff or someone else, i.e. a Tonali or someone else in that position, we'd have absolutely battered him. Like we were one or two players away, probably one player away from absolutely battering them. Because we put out quite a, let's be honest, a lot of returning players. Lewis Hall at left back. We've got Kraft. We've got no Trippier or Livramento. A couple more players, we absolutely batter them. And it's just a shame. It is just a shame because we really should have got 3 points out of it. But Longstaff, we're going to have to put up with this for the rest of the season because this will continue. He's not going to get much better than this, I don't think. I think this is it.
I don't think he's going to get any better than this, and that's the problem. Is he the sort of vision for where we want to go? I don't think there's any coming back from where he is. I'd love to be proved wrong because we've seen great things in the past.
It's not really on him, is it? Though it's if Tonali was available, Longstaff would have allowed to have been rested so he could fully recover. And then might maybe try and be rotation and get a bit of form. But instead, he's not allowed to rest. He's not allowed to regain his confidence. He's not allowed to recover. He's just having to just play. And he's making mistakes and he's a bit sloppy. And he can't do much about it. I kind of sympathise with him in a way. But
he played well last season, didn't he? He was better than this last season, a lot better.
Well, a few games into this, it was decent as well. He had a decent run of form at the start of the season.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
But is decent good enough? Because right now I'm throwing me toys out the pram and I want to buy one get one free first class ticket for him and Dummit to get out the door. I just feel a bit over it, and I'm just a bit browbeaten by these lackluster performances. And I get the poor lad is injured, his confidence must be absolutely shot to shit. But when it feels like we are down to 10 men consistently, Bruno's having to babysit him every time, so that restricts his game and the contribution that he's making. And I'm probably being quite harsh towards him, but I do feel we're at the end of the road with Mr. Longstaff.
Let's do some positives now. Let's do the goal scorer first. Alexander Isak, terrific taken goal, wasn't it, Stato? Brilliant finish and had a fair game, didn't he? He ran Jared Banfrey into the ground, didn't he?
Yeah, he had an interesting game, Isak. It looks like, we always talk about he needs a few games. He needs quite a lot of games, actually, to get back to his best. I think the same is true of Willock. We mentioned that yesterday, Billy. Both of them are very athletic players, high sort of explosive sprints, and they need to be super focused. And just, there's a lot of rust there. A lot of cobwebs until they get a good run of games under their belt. And Isak looks like the final cobweb seems to have fallen off because his general play is a lot better. He got his first assist of the season last week, at the weekend, and he looked a bit better in build-up. And his actual goal from open play was great to see. It wasn't a pen. He was tenacious. He ran at three separate defenders, found some space. Although bit odd from Branthwaite to do a lunge in place. I've never seen anybody lunge and not somehow go forwards. He lunged and stayed in the same place.
He went sideways,
How?
didn't he?
How did he do it?
Michael Jackson moonwalker. It's been done
Literally,
before.
Yeah,
It was
was.
magic. So yeah, Branthwaite is a great player, but that was a really funny movement. I don't even know. It must have been a complete accident. I'm sure he surprised himself with that. But it was a great goal. It was well taken. And it's a shame that Isak couldn't get more because he was good for it. He had one cleared off the line by Tarkowski, but excited that he's back. 15 goals in the Premier League from 17 starts this season. I've got a few Arsenal fans at work that are all like, but he's injured. He'd be too expensive. That's fine. They can continue with that attitude as far as I'm concerned. They continue to underrate him. We'll let him fly under the radar and we'll have him because he's an absolute superstar.
Sam, you can talk about the captain, Dan Burn, another positive. Had a fantastic game, didn't he?
Well, what a wonderful performance that was. I thought it was fantastic. What I particularly liked is I thought we could really see his leadership qualities. I think the armband just made him raise his game. Tackling the centre back role, you know, I think that was just a great shout. We've obviously got Hall at left back now. The Shithausen from set pieces again. He just was bullying everybody in the box in set pieces, which was great. It was such a shame for Isak's offside because that would have been a fantastic moment for him after a great game to score the decider. It obviously hasn't worked out in the end, but I think he was the best I've seen him play in a really long time. I would have loved to have seen the win for him.
I agree. I think, having said that, I do think it was a game really suited him, wasn't it, Stato? A big physical team, lots of long balls to head away. They did suit him, but he did rise to the occasion, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to go quite as far as Sam's done with the Longstaff comment. I think players like that are necessary in a squad. They're necessary. It just really sucks and hurts when they have to play as much as they do when they're tired and they're injured and their confidence is low. There's no rotation. I think it's pretty bang on that Longstaff and Burn are meant to be rotation players, really. They're at the level where they should be rotation players, and therefore we wouldn't see all of this as much. In an ideal world, Sean and Dan Burn play in games that are suited to them when rotation is necessary. And then it's better because Dan Burn can play in games like last night where it completely suited his game and he was more the better for it. And we need these kind of deep squads. We need players that are okay. You know, Sean and Dan Burn now have played European football. They can play to a better level. We've seen them do it. So with good sort of rest and rotation and playing in the right matches for them, I think they can be useful, but they need to be, I think they're both at that point now where they can't be the main people. They shouldn't be bang on first names on the team sheet starting 11. Absolutely not a chance. It should be, you know, your Lewis Halls and your Sandro Tonali's and stuff. They're the players that next season I think need to step into those roles. And yeah, I think you need them. You look at the teams that are pushing higher up the table across all of the squads, especially over the last sort of 10 years. You know, you got your James Milner's been in title winning teams, but he just didn't really play. He was a bit part figure. You know, you've got your Gareth Barrys and stuff. I mean, I'm really scraping the bottom of the barrel here, but you need these kinds of players. You do this. There's no. It doesn't matter that much. You need players with experience that understand the club, understand the team, the system. It's fine. They're not going to be starting for much longer. I wouldn't worry about it. It's just frustrating at the moment.
I think Burns a tool in the box. I think there's times when he is ideal for games. Last night was the best team to put him in against in the right position as well. So I agree with you on the point of Burn. Not so much on Longstaff, but I'm just sick of.
Do you not remember Longstaff's form though? Sort of PSG kind of time when he was.
Yes.
Like if we can encapsulate that as a squad player, is that not good enough?
That would be good enough for me, but my concern is it was good enough then, but what's got us there isn't going to get us where we want to be. And I get, you know, we've got to think about FFP. We've got to think about, you know, rotation of players. I can probably see him staying on for another season to get us over that period where we do bring in fresh people to the team. I think just for me personally, watching the play is very detrimental when I see Longstaff on the pitch. I would love to be able to have him in that rotation spot, and we just don't have that luxury right now.
I mean, Stephen Harker's just made a good point about, he's homegrown and obviously it's pure profit if we sell him. Yeah, I mean, if we get a decent offer for him and all parties agree, fine. Yeah, it would be decent for reinvestment because I know it doesn't seem like it because of all the injuries, but we are actually pretty stacked in midfield. Everybody just died for some reason. So, yeah, but if we get a reasonable offer, yeah, I think that people would entertain that at the club, 100%. But I'm sure he would probably want to stay because the idea of winning a trophy for us is probably a lot better. And I don't, any moves that I think Sean would get now would be to a club that wouldn't be winning major trophies. So I think he would fight tooth and nail to stay at his boyhood club. And I wouldn't blame him for it.
I've had a message from Paul. People are asking about Paul's welfare. He's fine. He will be back tomorrow, but he's just taking time out now. He shouldn't have come on tonight. He said he was a bit emotional, and what he said had to be said, and fair play to him for doing so. Let's do the player ratings, eh? Let's do that. Let's get that done, and that should take us to the end of the show, shouldn't it? Who was in goal? Martin Dubravka. Sam, give us his rating.
6. When I watched it back, I think he did get a hand on the pen. Tried some sweeping. Yeah, he did. So I was quite pleased with that. Tried some sweeping, which I think is something that we've been crying out for. So yeah, solid 6.
Stato?
I'm gonna go with a 5. I'm
closing then.
Are you sure?
I feel like I don't want to give him more than a 5. I feel like it would be just a participation award. It's like the naughty child in the class getting praised for the one day they're not naughty and everybody else just gets ignored. I'm not gonna say well done, Martin, because you swept twice. I'm happy that he's done it, but there were a couple of occasions where Dan Burn flagged him to come out of his box and he just stood there like he just had it just infuriates me. So, well, what do you think he's waving at you for, Martin? To just backpedal, get out the box, come and claim it. There was a moment where Fabian Schär basically spent. If you watch this as well, because they replayed it in slow-mo, where the ball went past Fabian Schär and Fabian Schär just went, yeah, it's fine. Goalkeeper's got that. He'll come and claim it. And then you could see his face turn to, oh no, as Beto starts to run past him. And Dubravka only just gets there. It's just, I just can't do it. He's a decent shot stopper to a point, and even that's dropped off a little bit in recent weeks. He went from his penalty shootout heroics to I can't save slightly to the right of me if it's a low shot because I just can't get down. And he's not. People going in at Longstaff, I think Dubravka's lost it as a Premier League level goalkeeper. I genuinely do. I think he's got performances in him where he looks amazing because he's a top quality international goalkeeper that's played football for years. So when he's on, he's on. But the problem is we're conceding goals all the time, constantly against every team, no matter who it is, just goals every single week. I appreciate it's not solely down to him, but I just don't think he's at the required standard or at all even suits the way we play anymore. It just doesn't suit how we want to play. Like if Dan Burn is communicating the sweep and the situation, I mean, Dan Burn was fantastic in that moment, but and the game, I'm rambling now, but 5. I don't know what to do with Martin Dubravka because I love him. I love him so much. I love him when he first came to the club and he shut out Man United with a great performance. He's been so good for us over the years, but I just think he's not at the right level anymore. He doesn't suit us.
Well, he suited Steve Bruce's team, didn't he? Because we depended with a low block. There was nothing to run out to go on and sweep a keep for, was there? That's when you've seen the best Dubravka. You don't see it now.
I don't want to scapegoat him, guys. I'm really sorry if it sounds like I'm scapegoating him. It's not his fault we lost at all, but there are just moments in there. I don't want him in goal for the rest of the season. I want Karius. Because Karius will make mistakes as well, but I think fewer, and it will suit our style.
Yeah. He was dithering a little bit last night at times, but at times he did come out and sweep a keep. I think middle of the road, 5's fair.
He surprised the centre halves though when he came out and headed it. All the centre halves were like, "Oh, who are you? What's going on there?" He didn't know what was going on.
Move to right back now. Emil Kraft, Sam.
Probably a 5. I think defensively okay. Not carrying the ball forward though. Offered very little going forward actually. I think he's probably still rebuilding his confidence. Again after the internationals, which is what we suspected. So I'm happy with my 5 for him. I think it was okay. He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, I agree with a 5. It was a very middle of the road performance. Yeah, neither here nor there for me. We lose a bit with Kraft at right back when you have Livramento and Trippier there most of the time. Definitely. Stato.
Well, I used up my word count on Dubravka, so I'm just going to give Kraft the 5 and we can move on.
Okay, other side of the pitch, Lewis Hall. Sam?
Hall 7. Really good. He is still developing, but really, really exciting and refreshing to watch. Love the start. Did take the dig to the ribs. And obviously got cramped towards the end. Just that fatigue. He needs his starts. Needs to build his fitness up. But I think it was great to see him pacey, good on the ground. Yeah, a lot more to come from him. Really pleased that we've got him in the team.
Stato.
I'm gonna give him I think I'm gonna give him a token 8.
Oh.
I think it's a 7 performance, but I think I'm gonna give him the 8 purely based on I'm rating his performance for him in that game, and because of all the drama that's gone on about him needing to be coached up defensively and learn and all of this. I think he showed up and he was really solid. 4 out of 6 aerial duels. He lost a couple, but he was really solid at that. And obviously, that's an area that is different when we don't have Burn at left back. He's plucking things out of the air, those long, big switches to the left-hand side. He was great with it. 3 out of 4 ground duels, 4 out of 6 aerials. He was tidy in his passing. He got forward often, 2 accurate crosses and 2 accurate long balls. He's technically really, really sound. And it could have been a game that got to him mentally because of, again, everything that's happened and that's been spoken about in the media. Really, really solid. So I'm going to go as high as an 8 just because he's passed the test now. That's it. We all know he's good enough. He's done it. He's doing it against Premier League opposition. He looks ready.
Yeah, I think 8 too. I think he had an excellent game. I really do. He ran out of steam, but that's what you get when you don't get to play football very often. Maybe he should have been playing a few more games before now, and he wouldn't be running out of steam. 8 out of 10. And it's great to see a left-footed attacking fullback who can defend a bit as well. I know doing overlaps and playing some nice passes and stuff. Love him.
God, there were some moments. Do you remember there were a couple of moments in the first half where on the left-hand side we'd got Hall, Anderson, and Barnes. Yeah. It was like we were in dreamland. It was like there's so many players to attack. I couldn't believe it. It was great.
It was indeed. Centre half time. Fabian Schär, Sam?
I give Schär a 6. I don't think he was up to his usual standards. I have purely given him an additional point for the tackle because it was absolutely magnificent. Yeah, simple as 6.
Stato?
I'm going to give him a little bit more. I think I'm going to give him a 7. I'll give him a 7. 9 accurate long balls was tidy. Won every single ground duel. 2 out of 6. They were pretty big up front, to be fair. Beto's like, 6'4"? He's pretty tall. So, but I liked what Fabian Schär did. I thought he was a lot better. He played a lot more like a senior pro. We kind of need him to step up because there's so many players injured in the back line. We just needed Schär to just turn up and be Fabian Schär for a game, and he did. He's not the reason why we conceded at all. It's not on Fabian. I like the performance. I think it was a 7. It was decent.
Yeah, I'll give him a 6. I thought it was much better than as it had been as late. Attitude was much better. Them passes as well out to that left flank. Oh, some of them are absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, I'll give him a 6. Dan Burn, Sam.
9. He's getting a 9 all day from me. Same things as I went over earlier. I just think he was a fantastic leader. Really showed where he should be playing from now on, and now we've got the quality in Hall to be able to allow him to do so.
Sato?
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 9. I'm going to put a question mark over one of the stats though. 11 out of 17 aerial duels. Dan, mate, how are you losing 6 times in the air? To who? Who are we losing 6 times to? You are literally the size of the Empire State Building. But still,
I know he lost one to Tarkovsky from a corner in the first half. Remember,
he's got to be winning them. But even so, it was magnificent. Physically, he's been moved, regardless of whether people say it's his better or more natural position. Yeah, but he's not really played there at all for quite a long time, so it's still going to be a little bit foreign for him going back into that role. He was magnificent. I loved his tidiness in possession. 91% passing accuracy is the best I think I've seen from him this year. It was obviously, it's a little bit easier to inflate that as a centre half, but he did it. And defensive wise as well, 6 clearances, 4 tackles. He was really solid. He didn't really do anything wrong in my opinion. I thought he was really, really good when a couple of balls over the top, great tackles, good timing, communicated well, wearing the armband again, it didn't seem to bother him. I'll go for a 9 because that's what we need. We need performances like that from him. Well, we've got so many injuries.
Yeah, I know I said when we played Brighton back in August that I didn't want to see Dan Burn play at centre half again, as I'm prone to do at times, be a bit emotive after the game.
Never.
I thought it was absolutely superb last night, but it's a horses for courses kind of affair for me. If you're going to play Dan Burn at centre half, you don't want to be winning against nippy little strikers. 2 physical ones is brilliant at, and he was fantastic. Best performance for me in a Newcastle shirt. I'll give him a 9 also. Absolutely fantastic. And I think he'll be okay against Fulham. I think they're pretty physical up front, so I think he'll suit them too. Won't he? So midfield, Bruno Guimaraes. Sam?
I give Bruno an 8. Great passing. Always pressing forward. Took the shot. Didn't come off. I don't think we were surprised how physically challenging Everton were. I think that I was really surprised given the physicality of their play that it actually didn't provoke his yellow card. So I was, again, continue to be impressed with Bruno's resolve. But he's really found his composure. I just think we want to see him doing more with, the quality alongside him.
Stato?
They've redacted his duels. They've changed it since yesterday. It was 14 out of 17. It's now 16 out of 19. So SofaScore does sometimes change the data. 16 out of 19. That is ridiculous, by the way.
Against Everton as well, with the Dogs of War in midfield.
Ooh. I'm going to give him a 10 for that. Just for that. I don't even care. I appreciate we didn't win the game. I appreciate there were things he possibly could have done better. But their midfield were enormous. He won 16 ground duels. That's absurd. That's absolutely unheard of. The kid's a freak. He's a freak. If we don't buck our ideas up, he is going to be playing for Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, or PSG in the next year. He is a freak. He's far too good for everyone on our pitch. He's insane. I appreciate it's ridiculous giving this guy a 10 for that, but he completed 7 dribbles. 7. He's a defensive midfielder by position. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. Absolute 10. I'm not giving him anything lower because he's a freak in a good way.
Oh, Alex, love that. Go on.
I will give him a 9. There are definitely reasons for giving him a 10, but I'll give him a 9. His shoot was a little bit off, wasn't it? But that's the only reason why I'm going to give him a 9, because he was fantastic.
Did you want him to make a couple of saves as well?
And he's doing this without getting a yellow card as well. He's been physical with the Everton midfield and not
16 duels with no yellow cards.
Did he make any fouls? I don't even remember him making a foul. He must have at some point, but I don't remember it.
One.
One foul. One. So
even then he contested it because he thought it was nonsense. I think he thought
it was nonsense. Now I think about it.
He was saying it. It was the one where he said he'd got his shirt pulled.
I think he was right as well. Yeah. So a really disciplined performance, but yet physical with it. And it makes you think how he's got 9 yellow cards over the season, to be honest. Because, I mean, if he does that kind of performance and plays like that, he shouldn't be getting yellow cards. But we all know he does get a red miss now and again. But he hasn't had one since he's got to 9 yellow cards, strangely enough. So, yeah, 9 for me. Let's go to the right of him. Sean Longstaff. Sam.
Do you really want to get mine first? 2. Honestly, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I get that the poor lad's injured. He's not at standard. He's not where this club wants to go. I don't like that he needs to be babysat, and I just feel like he's not contributing. He's actually detracting. He's fine positionally, but the poor lad's exhausted and he's injured. It's nothing personal to him, but yeah, no, done.
Before we go any further with Stato, I'm going to answer this. We can't do a poll, Niall, because Paul's gone and he's got control of the YouTube stuff. So, yeah, unfortunately, there's no poll for Man of the Match tonight. But, yeah, thanks for reminding us. We would have done it had we have had control of YouTube. Stato, Sean Longstaff.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Is it a 10?
I'm going to tell you a joke now, and I don't normally do funnies, but Bruno with the 16 duels. Do you want to take a guess at how many Sean got?
Good. None.
3.
Oh, he did better than what I thought then. 10.
I mean, it's still a comparatively. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to. No, I'll give him a 3, and then we're just going to move on. I was going to try and help him, but I don't really know how. So,
no.
Again, it wasn't. The only thing I can say is it wasn't his worst performance.
Mm. Yeah,
it's like when a child brings you a drawing for the fridge, and you go, "It's not your worst one." It was.
What is it, by the way?
What is this shite?
Arsenal won up against Luton. Odegaard scored for Arsenal. Strangely enough, Arsenal beating Luton at home. Right, who am I marking? Sean Longstaff. He wasn't as good as he was against West Ham, but he was better than what he has been recently. I'll give him a 4. Just token 4. Eddie Anderson, Sam.
7. I was quite happy, pleased to see him. I thought in the first half he was really, really good. I think once he gets more game time, builds up that fitness, we're just going to see that quality. We're going to see him improve as well. A little quiet in the second half, obviously understandable coming back from injury. So 7 all day for me.
Stato.
I will go with a 7 because I think the impact on the game was better. I think he's somewhere between Lewis Miley and Willock in terms of profile, and that he's not quite as super athletic as Willock is with his sprints and stuff, and not quite as technical as Willock can be with some of his intricate, like crazy passes. He's obviously a lot more developed than Lewis Miley. He's in the middle of those two, and I think it's kind of perfect because we don't have a Joe Linton or a Tonali. We've got nobody that can just give us any umph. Elliot Anderson gives us the umph. He's great at doing that. He's kind of a hybrid player, and he can connect with the midfield nice and carefully, but then he can pop up as an offensive player in wide areas because he's played both. So it was a great piece of work by Eddie Howe converting him into a midfielder, and it works really well. He got more duels, 2 more duels than Sean did in 5 out of 7, which was better. I really like the way that he contributed on that left-hand side as well. I mean, I've said it earlier, it was refreshing being able to see Barnes, Anderson and Hall all together on the left, with Anderson and Barnes kind of with little 1-2s and then Hall bombing for an overlap. It's proper football. It's nice to be able to see. So yeah, Anderson with a 7. And I think he's going to be very, very useful in the entire run-in, because we've got nobody of that profile. So it's what we've been missing for ages.
Yeah, I agree. 7's a very good score for him, fair score. Physicality that we don't get when Miley was playing there or when Willock's playing there. But he's also got a little bit of stuff with his feet too. He's got a nice little left foot there. So yeah, enjoyed his performance, and he will come in handy for us. I think he'll against Everton as well, to be able to be that physical and win duels and stuff. I think it's really good. So well done to Elliot. Go to the forward line now, don't we? Jacob Booth on the right hand side, Sam.
I'm teetering between a 5 and a 6. I thought taking the shot was really selfish, really, really selfish. I don't know if people caught it, but Isak was absolutely screaming for the ball at the time, and he had a clear shot on goal as well. Obviously Longstaff's not a great support for Murphy, but I thought I'd give him a 6. He was decent in the first half, but marked down for the selfish shot.
Stato?
I like some of his early work. It was solid. That volley he tried was a great save from Pickford. That really should have got him a goal. I thought he was solid. I think obviously he looked a little bit bad after he got fouled. It was a horrible foul, by the way. I'm not even sure it got a yellow card, did it? Did it get a yellow card?
Who from Tarkovsky?
Yeah, that foul.
Yeah,
he did.
But did he?
He deserved it as well. It was an horrible foul. He was on set pieces, which were okay. I'm going to give him. I'm going to give him a 6. Again, 1 out of 5 aerial duels. Who was on his side? Mikalenko and Dwight McNeil. Yeah, sorry, Jacob, you're getting a 6, mate. I want more than one header against Mikalenko, really, or Dwight McNeil.
Yeah, I think 6 is fair. I really liked his corners, though. I've got to say, I think his corners were fantastic.
Yeah,
He's great at dead balls in every situation, isn't he?
Yeah, really, really pleased with that. But and Sam is right; he was very selfish on that kind of when he could have squared it to Isak to score, and he shot. So yeah, 6. And then the other side, Harvey Barnes, Sam.
8. Threatening, not afraid to take anybody on. Really exciting to watch on the ball. I think that the opposition just don't know what to do with him, and it's great. I think fatigue did set in, obviously, and I think it's completely fair given the injury. But what an exciting watch, and yeah, I think that's going to carry us through for the rest of the season.
That's all.
We doing Barnes, yeah?
Yeah.
I think I'll go with the 6 as well. I think it was marginally better than Murph. Oh, was it? No, I think it's just a 6. I think they were both kind of okay. They were okay. I think they Barnes obviously needs a little bit more time. I think we can get a lot more out of Barnes. As people giving him 7s and 8s, did he do enough to get as much as an 8? I feel like that's a bit generous.
Sam just gave him an 8.
I think so.
What?
I think he was an
Why
8.
do you think he deserves an 8?
I think that he created a dynamic that we haven't seen in a really long time. I think the threat that he posed was excellent. I think he's great at crossing. I think he's good positionally. I know that he's got a way to go, but I think he's just doing a fantastic job. He's exciting to watch as well. I just think he's just always pressing.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, 4 key passes, 3 shots. Yeah, all right. I'm persuaded I'll go up to a 7. I think that's probably fair.
I'll take that.
I was going to give him a 7 anyway, but he ran out of steam, which he obviously was going to do. He was knackered the last 10 minutes or so. But he had a spell in the second half of about 5 minutes where he did 3 or 4 fantastic things. One led to the clearance off the line. I think that was kind of down to that as well.
Oh, I mean, to be fair, he did get the assist.
And he got the assist also.
Yeah, all right. He definitely deserves a 7 then.
So I'll give him a 7. Finally, Alexander Isak, Sam. Take your mic off mute.
We've lost you.
Rookie. 7, scored from open play. He missed the sitter, but defended well. I think he was much more mobile, which was great to see. We're just seeing him raise his game all of the time, which is really, really great to see. Just as a bit of a disclaimer, my laptop might actually die any second because I've been working on it. So if I go, I'm sorry, but before I do, just quickly dumb it to 0 in case I leave.
That's
generous. Isak can have a... I'll give him a 9 because it was a much better all-round performance and he got a goal, which is what strikers are meant to do. And he's being quite consistent with those goals. He's doing a lot of footballs and scoring a lot of football goals. I'm going to give him a 9 just because we've needed this. I think I summed it up perfectly earlier in that I think the final cobweb has fallen off. So I'm excited to see. I mean, it's right time for him to get injured now, isn't it?
Probably.
Oh, don't say that.
I'll give him an 8. I'll go in between the two of you. I'll give him an 8. Good goal, but he should have scored another one really from 6 yards out. But he does look much more mobile. He does look like he's sharp. He's very sharp, in fact. And he gave Jared Branthwaite, who we'd praised to the hilt before the game and was called up for the England squad last week, an absolute win around. Made him look very, very average. So I'll give him an 8. Now it's time for the substitutes. It was the first one on Willock, wasn't it?
Willock for Anderson on the
We'll do
71st
Willock first. Sam,
minute.
you can do Willock before your computer goes a knacker.
Yeah, 3. I want to see him do well. I'm waiting for that comeback to form. I didn't think he offered a great deal. I didn't think he was the impact sub that we needed. Not to say that we had choices. But given his pace, I thought that he would have been able to change things a lot more than he did.
Stato?
I mean, she summed it up perfectly, yeah. I was hoping he was going to give a bit more, energy. Well, what was it you said the other day? It's that meme, isn't it? More energy, more footwork, that one. That's what we needed from Joe Willock. Exactly. We didn't get it from Joe Willock. There was no runs. It just wasn't enough. I mean, he touched the ball 15 times. Didn't win any duels at all. No, it wasn't really good enough. I need to give him a number, don't I?
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a 4. I thought it was very poor.
Yeah, I'll give him a 4 as well. He just seems to lack confidence the past 2 games. I mean, against West Ham, he was dire, and he was dire again last night.
He was great when he first came back, though. He got that goal, and he was looking a bit more. And then it's kind of dipped a bit. I think he needs game time.
Since that Man City game where we changed formation, it's just been dreadful. But yeah, he will come back. He's a good player, no doubt about it. And finally, Dummit. Good grief. We've already heard Sam 0. Any reason why?
Because he was absolutely fucking shite. It should be his last match. God forbid we have to call upon him again. Head, hang it low, senseless, reckless, cost us the game. No, absolutely not. And could be the difference in us keeping players like Bruno and Isak and getting European football. Like this is where we are now. And that display, no. Get on your bike. Be gone. No. 0.
Stato.
I can't disagree with that. I feel like that's 2 points dropped, and 2 points could be the difference between getting a European place and not, which could be the difference between keeping a player and who we can sign in the window. He could have just forged our next year or 3 in that one moment, and I'm shocked that Dan Burns said he doesn't need to apologise to anybody, because yes, he does. We've been fans just as long as Paul Dummit's been a fan of the club. We've got every right to be disappointed in him, and I think he's just burnt it. Whatever new contract that was being drafted up, the 1-year extension, I hope was set on fire immediately. No, not ripped up, set on fire in front of him, preferably. I'm so upset with him, because I really liked Paul Dummit. I thought he was really, really integral in Bruce's final season. He came back from injury and played 15 games on the trot. He's the reason I'm actually here on this channel. I did a full sort of essay post on Paul Dummit and the impact he had in that final season under Steve Bruce, and his 15 games in a row kind of stabilised us somewhat and kept us up. Of course, Willock helped somewhat with his ridiculous goal scoring run. And I'm just disappointed that he's done that, because I've said it twice. I'm going to say it 3 times. It's not that he lost out technically or through speed or through just being the worst football player. He just did something utterly ridiculous that you cannot explain. Only he can explain, and it's ridiculous. He's gone. I'm afraid he needs to go and help Elliot at Gateshead. Just go.
I mean, you sometimes hear the say, "Well, he's won that game on his own, and he's or whatever." But Paul Dummit literally cost us 2 points on his own last night, so he didn't get any points for me. 0, diddly squats, zilch, not a sausage, etc., etc., etc. Anyhow, Sam.
6. Limited choices. I get that. Late subs again. Fatigue set in at 50 minutes. Everybody could see, yeah, it was again, Eddie o'clock where we actually do something about it. 2 keepers on the bloody bench, man. I just think a missed opportunity. Like, I just can't see the logic in doing that when we can give young players a great experience, which will help us in future seasons. I don't blame him for Dummit. That was Dummit's fault, not his. But hey,
Yeah, strange one from Foxy there. I never normally disagree with Foxy, but
Yeah.
Richie, I think that the Richie at fullback experiment was put to bed by Eddie Howe, and rightly so. Oh, I think we've just lost Sam to our battery. Yeah, that experiment was put to bed, and Dummit has given us a few reasonable performances under Eddie Howe. He's a left-footed senior defender. I think it was well within Eddie Howe's rights to trust him. I don't think Eddie Howe should be apologising. I think Eddie Howe should be trusting his. What's the point in having them if you're not going to trust them to play in those moments? What's the point in paying their salary if you're not going to trust them? He's not going to trust him again after that. Now that's done. He's burnt his bridges.
When I had a choice of either Murphy, Richie, or Dummit, I think
next time I think he goes for Murphy. Next time Alex Murphy gets the shout,
and purely because he's played left backs in the past 6 months or 8 months or whatever. I mean, Paul Dummit hasn't done it since that Leeds game, as you said last night, 2 years ago. So yeah, although the experience is Dummit, isn't it? I think most managers would pick him 9 times out of 10. I do, honestly.
I agree. Fans,
what did you give Eddie Howe?
Oh, we're doing Eddie Howe. I will give him a 7. I don't think he was bad that game. I think the defense was performed well. In attack, we were creative. We created a lot of chances from open play. Eddie Howe can't physically put the ball in the net himself. It was the training drills and passing patterns and sequences that they've been practicing that worked. Ultimately, all of that worked. And people just couldn't finish their dinner. They got in plenty of good opportunities. It was a combination of a little bit of selfishness and a little bit of just, headlights sort of situation in front of goal. I thought it was reasonably solid. I think his substitutions were okay. They weren't terrible. I think it was the most logical thing and made sense. However, I did want a little bit more of a tweak. Although I understand he hasn't got a lot to work with on the bench. He didn't really have anybody you could bring on to impact that game. When they made their Calvert-Lewin and double midfield sub, we needed a bit more. We needed something to counteract that, and we didn't really have anything. Maybe he did try to tinker with something tactically, and it just didn't work. I don't see what else he could have done. He gave them everything they could to win that game, and they just didn't execute it properly. It was Dummit let him down, and people couldn't finish their dinner to get more than the goal.
Geraint Thomas says man of the match goes to Paul. Well, yeah, he did go through it last night. Fair play to him for standing up for today. I'll give Eddie Howe a 6. Can
I just correct? Can I just correct Shana Jackson? Do you not realise Everton had not won in 13 games? Yeah, they didn't win last night either. It was a draw.
Yeah, that's true. That is correct. Yeah, I'll give him a 6. I didn't like the 2 goalkeepers on the bench. I think he should have made the Willock sub a little bit earlier, maybe give him more chance to get in the game, and maybe for Barnes rather than Anderson. I thought Anderson looked a bit more fresher than Barnes, actually. But 6.5 doesn't either. He would never have took Lewis Hall off if he wasn't fatigued. So you can't really blame him for the Dummit one. He went with experience and trusted. So yeah, I'll give him a 6.
I mean, I have got something to show if you guys want a bit of positivity.
Yeah, let's have a bit of positivity before we sign off.
Oh no, let's not share StreamYard. Let's share
that was
Rice. Let's share Elliot Anderson because he's really good. So I just wanted to remind people, because a lot of people, I've seen a lot of comments about Elliot Anderson isn't quite, is he enough? I think people are forgetting just how good this guy could be and what his skill ceiling seems to be. So he's still 21 years old. And if we scroll down and have a look at his data,
wow,
it's rather good. It is only from 800 minutes. So there is a pinch of salt to be taken here. But he's a good player. He's very, very good defensively. He's physically bulked up. He's pacey. He's athletic. He's a different option to us. He's played multiple positions. He's played he got his minutes at Bristol Rovers. He's been part of the first team for quite a long time now. He was absolutely magnificent in pre-season. His ball progression is very, 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 very impressive for passes, and I mean, arguably elite for progressive carries. Again, you've got to be careful with the data because it's versus midfielders, and I would say Anderson is a little bit of a hybrid in that sense, that he's somewhere between a wide attacking midfielder and slots in as a general sort of midfielder as well. It's a bit of box to box about him, with a bit of wide thrown in there. It's a bit of everything. Modern footballers have got to do a lot of jobs, and this boy can actually do a lot of jobs. I'd like to see him shoot a little bit more. 1.5 per 90 is still really, really high, but this is super promising. And if you scroll down and look at who he profiles like, you've got Gravenberch in there, Rabiot, Mateus Nunez at City. You've got Joe Linton's on the list as well. I mean, if that doesn't prove that we were missing a profile like him, Anderson literally profiles statistically similar to Joe Linton. So
I mean, it's odd. He's like Joe Linton, but also Henrik Mkhitaryan, who it's completely
Well, Mkhitaryan plays a very, very different role now. Very different.
Indeed.
But yeah, I thought I'd end in a positive. I thought I'd show something nice. The fact that Anderson's back, we can because obviously we're not going to get to see Miley again really for probably much of the season. So it's all about kind of watching Lewis Hall and Anderson's progress now, isn't it?
Yes, it's just something really to look forward to. I think we'll see both of them for the rest of the season, really, give or take. I mean, Willock's obviously going to play a few games, but I wonder if he'll play Willock Saturday or Anderson. It'll be an interesting choice for him. But at the moment on form, you've got to go with Anderson, surely. Yeah. Anyway, we've come to the end of the show, folks. Thanks ever so much for your time tonight. Thanks for your understanding of Paul's situation too. Thanks for the super chats and the new members, etc., and the new subscribers. But just do us a favour on your way out, hit that thumbs up. It does really help us out. But myself and Stato, we'll see you again tomorrow night. We've got the Fulham preview, and then it's TTR Friday on Friday. Can't be any other day for it, really. And then watch along Saturday, of course. So we've got lots to look forward to on the Toon review. Again, thanks for all your support. Thanks to the mods in the background. Thank you to Stato, Sam, and Paul, of course. We wish you all a very good rest of your Wednesday evening. Good night, folks.
Away, the lads and lasses.
Good night.
Come back and check out some green.